Track systems has been with us for over a century. The example behind me, built in 1959, is an example of the old school. But even in the last 50 years, tracks have developed so much. But the important thing is they cost a lot. They cost a lot to maintain, up to 50% of the lifetime repair and maintenance costs of a bulldozer. Right, we're now in the cat demonstration ground around the back of the Leicester factory, and I'm going to talk to Finning's Luke Patterson about top tips on track maintenance.
Hi Graham.
Hello Luke, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Do you know, in 9 years of editing Earth Movers magazine, well, I've got a bit of a confession to make.
What's that?
Your colleagues have tried to teach me in the past about why tracking in reverse causes more wear to the track components. Could you explain that to me, please?
Of course. Graham, I've brought you to this side of the machine, so I can firstly talk about this bushing that we've got off the machine, but also we can talk about the interaction on wear between the sprocket and the bushing. So here we've got a bushing off probably a D9 size machine, and here you can see this is the reverse drive side. So this is where the sprocket is contacting the bushing on the reverse side, and this is where it contacts when the machine goes in forward motion. As you can see on this bushing, there is much, or it's accelerated wear, on the reverse drive side, caused by accelerated wear between the sprocket and bushing. And you can even see to the point where this bushing's gone past its maintenance point, and there's a large crack down the middle of this bushing. This could no longer, with this crack, we could no longer perform in a bush turn.
I love the way you say accelerated wear, but if we actually look at this closely,
yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked at the damage of that component. If you can just twist it around, perhaps we can see what it should look like. There's plenty of metal there, isn't there?
Exactly, and that's what it would have come out virtually new.
All the way around?
Yeah.
So what actually causes wear when tracking in reverse?
Well, when you look at two undercarriage components and the wear that happens, there needs to be three variables for wear to occur. Firstly, there needs to be contact between two parts. So we know there's been contact here between the sprocket and bushing. The second is load, and with a bushing, the first bushing that enters the sprocket carries around 85% of that load. The other sort of 15% of the load is spread across the second and third bushing. And you also need some sort of relative motion, so some sort of movement between those two components. So when tracking in reverse, that's when you concentrate the load and the relative motion on the bushing and sprocket.
And that's the same for all track systems, if we're talking about a 1950s D8H outside, or this from a D9, or this little D4.
Yes, whether you're looking at a elevated or lower drive sprocket machine, that's the type of wear you see. The only difference now being with the introduction of System 1 track type systems, which have a rotating bushing, that eliminates this wear pattern.
Rotating so that the wear spread even around the edge.
Yes, the bushing section of this will rotate slightly, so you're limiting that relative motion between the bushing and sprocket.
We got System 1 on the D4 here, haven't we?
Yep.
Shall we take a closer look?
Yes, certainly. So this is a System 1 track, Graham. The easiest way to identify it is you've got a parallel link design system. So you've got an outer link, an inner link, and then another outer link, rather than a dogleg system you get on a salt track.
Yeah.
One of the other clever advantages of the System 1 track is a centre tread idler. So this idler, now instead of running on the link rails and causing the link rails to wear, it now runs on that rotating bushing. So you've eliminated a large contact zone or another large wear zone between the idler and the link assembly, giving you extended life.
When we're out here with a dozer, what's your top 5 tips to reduce maintenance costs on tracks?
Well, you've got the first one there, Graham. You've got tracking in reverse. You really want to avoid tracking in reverse because you're going to accelerate that wear, as we've said, on the bushing and sprocket. So one of the other things you can do, Graham, is to keep your undercarriage cleaned out. So making sure you're regularly cleaning out the undercarriage and taking those abrasives away from the undercarriage components can really help you to extend life. So one of the things you will need for your track maintenance is a shovel. Some of the other things you'll want to do, Graham, is also to minimise unproductive travel. So you've invested a lot of money into this undercarriage system, and you want to get the maximum production out of that investment. So if you can minimise the unproductive travel associated with owning that tractor, you're really going to get the best bang for your buck.
Unproductive travel, is that going across the site for 5 miles to get your lunch?
Exactly.
But is there also production things you can do? I mean, forgive me, I don't really know a lot about dozers. Should you reverse all the way back to take another cut, or should you turn?
What you can do is you can have a look at different ways, and different job sites and setups are going to be slightly different. What we would say though is if you can minimise that reverse travel, you will extend the life of your undercarriage. And also turning tips and techniques can be important as well. So making sure you're doing slower turns rather than sharp, hard turns can really reduce the load you're putting on the undercarriage.
We've just scratched the surface on the topic of track maintenance, but clearly there's a lot of money to be saved. Not hundreds of pounds, but thousands of pounds over the lifetime of the machine. There's plenty of resources available online, or call into your local dealer. But whatever you do, the message is, start saving more money on track maintenance.